This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is your multi-women's champion, Seedling's only permanent international member, Amazon Ayesha Raymond, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday and Tuesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Pale Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James Shea, and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Amazon Ayesha Raymond.
That's literally the greatest introduction I've had since Japan. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. We try to do it big here on Wrestling With.
I appreciate it.
And how are you today?
How am I? I'm currently roasting in 20, I don't know what it is in American things, I'm going to speak English, in 28-degree temperatures in Manchester, Jamaica. So yeah, I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
And that's crazy. It's like super cold in California, and it's supposed to be like super sunny all the time. Nothing makes sense.
Really? It's cold? Oh, from what the books tell me the wrong thing then. From what I thought, it was just sunny and shiny and happy all the time over there.
What my computer is telling me right now, it's 61 degrees. It's 57 degrees. It just went down.
What's that in English?
I don't know. I would have to get.
He's having a 0011 moment. Sorry.
I kind of am.
I do that to people sometimes. I apologize.
But yeah, it's cold for California. Let's just say that.
Okay. But
that being said, where is Ayesha Raymond heating up event-wise?
She's heating up event-wise. Obviously, I will be returning to Japan quite soon. I'm defending my UPW Women's Championship against Lily Grace at the UPW event in Weymouth on the 27th of April. And there's a lot more coming that I just can't discuss at this moment in time. You'll just have to wait.
Alright, looking forward to seeing what's coming up. And how can we find what's coming up through your social media?
So literally, like you said, through my social media, everything is at Amazon Ayesha Ray or at Amazon Ayesha Raymond or at Ayesha Raymond, because there basically is only one. My face is the same all the time, and you will see my nice shining face amongst everything that I'm going to be doing. And trust me, you'll be moderately surprised.
And where can we find merchandise as well?
Merchandise-wise, I do promote my merchandise through my Instagram, so that's at Amazon Ayesha Raymond or Amazon Ayesha Ray. And I do currently still have a store open on Pro Wrestling Tees, which is under the name Ayesha Raymond.
Alright. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all her social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And just to do a callback here, 57 degrees is 13 Celsius, I believe.
Oh, that's fine. That's literally London. I moved to Scotland and I was talking like minus 10 degrees. That's cold, dude.
Hey, it's cold for like I said, it's cold for California. We have to wear socks with our sandals.
All right, I'll give you that. You can have that one then. That's fine.
Alright, let's get into it. You work for Seedling. Can you tell us about
Yes.
your relationship with that company?
So my relationship with that company actually started off when I originally worked for Stardom, won the ring Stardom in Japan, and I was working there with the then owners, now owners of Seedling, Nanae Takahashi and Natsuki Teo. When Seedling initially started off, I was still contracted and doing a lot of work overseas in other places, so I wasn't able to go. And I received a contact from Natsuki to become their first permanent member of the roster. She went over for 3 months, which was then extended to 6 months. 6 months then became a year, and now I am their only international contracted member. So that's it. It's been a long while. Natsuki likes to tell the story, which always makes me cry. She did her around the world retirement tour, and Natsuki Teo has been involved in Joshi wrestling for literally the golden years and years and years to come. And she had trained and helped so many people who had come through Joshi wrestling, all the gaijin that came through, she knew. So when she did her around the world tour, you think you got a lot of friends around the world, wouldn't you think? Flash forwards when she was doing her around the world tour, any person that she contacted was unable to see her. And I understand she understood as well. We've all got lives, but she basically saw nobody. And the story that she always tells is, I did my around the world tour and only Amazon came to see me. And it's the truth. Like, out of everybody that she had met in her tenure of wrestling and the time that she spent at Stardom, there was only one person who actually came to see her. And I saw her for like 20 seconds because I had to get on a plane and work. We went to Camden, we went to a diner, we had food. I took her to the Harry Potter train station. It's just weird things like that. At the time, wasn't one of my co-senpais and my trainer, but she just wanted to spend time with somebody, and I did that for her. And it became a friendship, which became a tutorage, which, she's my senpai now, so I thank her for that.
And what does it kind of mean to you? You mentioned that you're the first gaijin to be signed to Seedling.
To me, that means so much, because if you think about, like I said, the lineage of Natsuki and Nanae alone, Nanae Takahashi, one of the legends of Joshi wrestling, how many gaijins has she met over the years? And she chose me out of everybody, even like before her break away from Seedling. She's now in Stardom, but she chose me, and I literally had no words. Like, they always used to say to me, Amazon fit, Amazon is Japanese. And I'm not Japanese, I'm British. I'm British through and through. I have Jamaican lineage, but I am British. But they treated me like family. And to know that a legend of that kind of sort, and both of them, and even when you go into the quadrant of what Seedling is, you have Yoshiko, you had Arisa Nakajima, you have Natsuki Teo, and you have Nanae Takahashi. And to have those four, and for them to hold kind of a respect in me, meant so much.
And I mean, you even, you mentioned that you moved there for quite some time. There's a difference between living somewhere and just visiting somewhere.
Yep.
What cultures say?
Yeah, I always say this, and people think you can either take it one way or another way, the way I explain this. There are people who come over to Japan and you can spend a couple of weeks there, you do your shows and whatever, but it's 100% different when you're over there for 6 months, a year, 2 years. They don't treat you like a present anymore. You're not this little toy that they can like ship around and you're like, yay, pictures, kawaii. That's not how it works. You're now part of the furniture. You are part of the dojo. You're part of the team. There is a clear, like, sometimes I speak to people and I tell them some of the things that I have to do and that I was doing, especially around in a dojo, and they're like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, because you were a toy. I was like, I literally can say that because I went from being the little prize toy, the gaijin that you bring over every now and again, and like, yeah, I'm here, and I'll go away, and I'll come back. But when I moved over there and the extended periods of time that I was staying there, it is a difference. There is a chasm of difference, and you will only understand if you actually live and breathe there. It's like talking another language, which you actually then learn to do.
And I have to ask, living in Japan, what are you eating in Japan?
I am extremely lactose intolerant, so Japan was so lovely for me. So for me, it was a lot of rice, which kills me after a while, but it's energy for the dojo. It was awesome. It was chicken, it was beef, but my problem is they had everything that I wanted, but it's the portion size. So we would go to like a skier or any kind of bar or any kind of store, or like have somebody like make something. They would have the normal portion, and Amazon would have three. It was just like Natsuki would always make a joke. It was just, here is everybody else's size and then Amazon size. Amazon size would usually become like 3 times their portion, and I wasn't offended in any way, shape, or form because I was 3 times their size, so it's fine.
And where is the best ramen in Japan?
The best ramen in Japan, I would honestly say it was a place that Natsuki took me. I don't remember the name of the store, but I literally could direct you. You come out of Kawasaki Station, you turn left, and you go up an escalator, and it literally is right there. It's bamboo, and there's red lanterns in front of you. You never miss it. But Natsuki and I went there, and it was weird to me because the way that I've never ordered ramen that way, I always ordered it from a person. I never did the button thing. So you could choose like the sauce that you wanted, the size that you wanted, whatever miso you wanted, how spicy you wanted it, whether you wanted the ramen soft, medium, or hard. And it was just like this futuristic thing. But when you actually came to sit down, it was like the old style tables where they have the curtains, they draw back the curtains, they push your bowl towards you, they draw the curtains back. So you have complete privacy. But it just tasted like heaven. But the problem with me with ramen is I love ramen to pieces, but I have this thing where I feel like I sweat ramen. I don't know what it is. Like you eat it, and then when you come home, you can smell it through your sweat. That's how I feel. But I love it. I love it to pieces. That's why it's like fish and chips for British people. It's literally something to soak up something from the night before, because that's why it's coming through your pores. That's what I've bargained now.
I mean, as athlete, I imagine that's not something you want, but for somebody, that just interviews wrestlers, that sounds like a good time to me. Smelling like
There is a
ramen.
good time. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's either that smelling like ramen or smelling like, what else? So when I was there in the season, so in the spring season they have these sweet potato treats and things because they're in season. But if you walk past any store, you always smell like charcoal. It's either smelling that or smelling like ramen. You have those, one or the other.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you recently wrestled Tessa Blanchard, no?
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like? I
I,
imagine that you've had a run-in with her once or twice, but this was actually your first time competing.
yeah, I mean, Tessa and I previously met briefly when we did the Mae Young Classic, but I literally got a chance to know her when we did our match in Austria, and at that time, I can say on this podcast, it's fine. I was not going through a very good time in my life. I needed something for me personally to prove after being away for so long. Coming back, this was my big match. Coming back in like to me, and she was so completely different to what everybody says she is. And I'm never one to judge somebody without meeting them first, and that's exactly what happened. Like, I can say on that day, I met a friend. Like, she was, the way that she was speaking, the respect that she gave me, nobody, barring a few Joshi wrestlers and a few of my friends around the circuit, has given me that same respect. And she had no right to, but she treated me on the same level as her. So I have nothing bad to say at all, at all. And for anyone that knew or knows about what happened after that match, I was injured. It was a freak accident. It could happen to any one of us. I literally fell on a glass bottle and sliced my knee open. It caused me trauma. Yeah, it was quite bad. It caused me trauma for the last couple of months. And she was the first person to message me. She messaged me every day until I had the surgery. When during recovery, during that time, I got a nice little puppy. It gave me comfort to the fact that I couldn't walk. You know, when you get a puppy when you can't walk, how nonsensical is that? But but like, she messaged me every day, and even now I still get like different, like, random messages every now and again. I literally have nothing bad to say about it at all.
That's really awesome. And now, competing in Japan, everybody knows I'm a buildings guy. I love my arenas. And it doesn't get too much bigger, not only in Japan, but the world, than the famed Kurgan Hall.
Yes.
What was that first experience like, walking into Kurgan Hall?
Well, if you want me to talk about that first experience, you're gonna have to flash back all the way to 2012. Like, the first match I ever had in Kurgan Hall, it was a four-way match. I was the big monster against, they called them the Chibis, and I had heard all the stories. I had heard all the descriptions. It was surreal walking backstage, and the same descriptions that were in people's books, like people have said on like interviews. That's how the backstage still looks. It has not changed. It looks exactly the same. But walking past the poster cabinet and seeing my face on the posters in this legendary building, and then flash forward almost, what now, 9 years later, and I've worked there over a dozen times, is it's not become, it's me, this is me being humble, Ayesha. It's not become sensitizing. I still walk in that building with awe. I still, even when it came to sealing, and you're helping the ring crew, and you're there with the ring and stuff, and they're hauling it up that massive crane, like seeing them set up, like the lighting system, the staging, watching the people come in, doing the opening ceremonies, like it was everything I dreamed of. And even now, I can't even count how many times later, like I said, over a dozen times, it's still very surreal that I've even been able to touch or even walk in there and people know my name. So, yeah.
And, competing there, coming from the UK, is this what's the differences you see in the crowd?
It's weird. I always flash back to a moment of, I don't know if you heard about the infamous moment in Shinjuku Face. Irisa did her first protest show, and it was 2000, I want to say 2020 or 19. I just remember the pink poster. And it was Irisa versus Nane, and there was a few, I would say British, I feel bad because I'm British crowd members, and there are probably a few Americans too. Basically, they weren't Japanese, and you could tell.
Right.
You could tell by the fact that Nane stopped mid-match, grabbed the microphone, and in Japanese said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to have you ejected from the building. The difference between how we cheer and how they cheer and how they respect and how we respect is a chasm of difference, and it does take a while to get used to, but you do learn slowly that the way that we kind of carry on, you can't do that everywhere. You just can't. Silence in their world is respectful. Silence in our world is bad. If it happens over there, you literally can jump for joy. If it happens to us, then you should probably go back to training school.
And you mentioned the match with Tesha was in Austria, correct?
Yes.
That's a big difference between uh, Japan as well. What was that crowd like?
So the Austrian crowd, the European crowd in general, has still got the old school kind of vibe to it, where it's a rowdy crowd. Like it's screaming, shouting. It's a lot of cheering. There's a lot of flags. It's. I would say you would go Europe, kind of Britain, America in the middle, and then Japan at the bottom in terms of if you want to go silence as respect. If you but there, it's a completely different crowd. It's basically like wrestling in front of a football crowd, whereas wrestling in front of Brits and a lot of American people is because we understand about the entertainment factor. It's entertainment to us. Most of the European crowds kind of still have the reactions of football crowds, and I kind of really like it. It's interesting to be around. Like they're still very kind of not touchy feely in a weird way, but touchy feely is the crowd will be there. They'll push the wrestler to make sure the wrestler's going, or if the wrestler's trying to get up, they'll pick them up. It's just weird things like that. And I generally do enjoy it. I love wrestling in Europe.
Now, speaking about America, I don't think you had a bigger match in America than when you competed for the Mae Young Classic for WWE.
Yeah,
The
it's the
Ray,
only time I could be in America.
uh, I don't think it gets bigger than being in the inaugural Mae Young Classic. What did it mean to you to be selected to be a part of that tournament?
Honestly, it meant the world to me. I was always a stubborn, as we'd say over here, I was a stubborn mare, and because I had the dream of, I idolized a lot of Japanese wrestlers. Obviously, a lot of those Japanese wrestlers went through the WE system, and it's WE that we all watch. Nobody can lie. No one can say I didn't go into wrestling. I didn't want to go to WE. Liar. But my brain, my brain always was like, until I go there, I don't want to go to America. Like I want to be good enough to go there, and then I'll do everything else. And then once I did that, I felt fulfilled in myself. But it it was weird because I think back at that time, and I'm like, the amount of people, like it's not like I know I probably stand out like a sore thumb in most places, but there was a lot of people in my generation at that time when we were all coming up, and to be in a group of you say 32 because that's how many people were in the tournament, but 32 people didn't come from Europe. You say in a group of like 15 out of the hundreds of girls that were probably competing at that time, all the fluffy boots in the world, all the neon tights, like they picks the 6 foot tall, at that time, catsuit wearing, face paint wearing Amazon from East London. And I couldn't have been more humble. Like I wanted to be a sponge. I remember walking into the performance center and I was like, oh, there's a statue, there's everything. And I horribly, I was like a kid. It was like I literally could walk around every corridor, and I'm like, everything here is what I dreamed of. I remember going to the gym and we were training, and I side-eyed, and Triple H was training like 5 machines down from me. You know when you're trying up the stair, oh hi, sign me. But it's just stupid things like that. You're like, it was like a dream come true, and to stand there in front of people, and then even the parade, as cheesy as it was at the time, it was as cheesy as it was at the time. Like it was cheesy enough, and I was honored to be part of that group. and I will never be forgotten of being part. They could have picked anybody, and they picked me. So, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much.
Yes, arigato gozaimasu. Yeah, I know a little Japanese myself. Chotto.
Ah, good.
Chotto.
Yeah. Honto? Chotto. Okay.
Chotto. But obviously WWE. I did notice, like in the one picture, William Regal was there in there. Was he coming up to you, giving you advice, talking to you?
He talked to everybody. Like that day, there was a lot of people around. There's a lot of faces that I saw Nikki Cross again, formerly Nikki Storm in the European scene.
Oh, yeah.
Big Damo was there. Like I saw there was a lot of people that were going around and giving people like little nippage of advice, even just how to carry yourself and what to do, and because you don't know, you're literally just put there and you expected to know, like most places. But there was a lot of people that was giving their advice and looking at the things that you were doing. Even like sometimes there was a time when we had to do promos and just little ways how to carry yourself, how your entrance could be better, and like things like that. So they did spend time on kind of fine tuning and tweaking little things as much as they could see and they could. And there were people giving like different bits of information when they thought it was needed.
And obviously, the match you competed against was against Tony Storm. Can you tell us about the actual match?
To be honest, it's been a while since I watched the match back. But in hindsight, like the logic of what it would have been David and Goliath. From what I remember, we put in a lot of things that we were known for. Like I remember lifting for the powerbomb. She does her ass gimmick. I did my flying splash, which I was using in Japan. So there were little things that we put in of ourselves. Do I wish some of the matches could have been a bit longer? Do I wish some of the things could have been changed? Yeah, but that's what happens, and that's how you grow. If I knew the things now that I knew then, I'd be really boring now. But from what I could remember, it was a good show for the both of us. I mean, people still talk about it, so it couldn't have been bad.
Like a moment like that, competing in the first Mae Young Classic. Is that a moment you take in the moment, or is that something that kind of sits in afterwards? Like, wow, I did this.
To be honest, it didn't sit in until afterwards. I remember when we finished this last day of the tournament, and everybody was doing their hellos and goodbyes and what have yous, and I just felt really overwhelmed at the moment in time. So I remember just going to the car. I asked for the keys. I went to the car, and I just sat in the car, and I just broke, and I was just like, "It's over. It's that I just did all of that, and now I'm gonna have to go back and do more and what's happening." Like I said, 0010111. I can honestly say my life changed after that moment. I had to think about a lot more things of how I would be presented, because there was a lot more eyes than how I was before. It was a far different experience than coming back from Stardom previously, when I was there and I was doing all those press conferences. I was on TV. When I came back, I was exactly the same. I didn't feel any different. But then when I went to that platform, going to that platform and then coming back and having to deal with everything afterwards, it was like, it took a while to process what I had just done. And even till this day, some people still go, I remember you were on the Mae Young Classic. Yes, I was. I was like, but you don't even talk about it. It's like, that I don't, things don't process in my head fast enough. Give me a couple of years and I'll realize. I'll probably with a Zimmer frame walking and go, "You remember me?" No. But it takes a while. But yeah, I remember going through the process at the time. I'm here, I'm at the moment, let me enjoy this. I'm at this moment in time. I've never been to America before. Like I've got family in America. Like I could have been to America ages ago, and I waited to be brought here. That I'm here. I'm going to enjoy this. And it literally wasn't until I sat in that car I was like, I did it. Oh no, what next?
Well, keeping up on, accolades, you competed for Ring of Honor as well against Kaylee
Yeah.
Ray. In a pretty famous building as well, your call, no?
Yep. I had never wrestled. There's a funny story about that match. I'm a East London girl, born and bred. Postcode was E15. I had never wrestled in East London in my entire career until that point. After all the years that I was wrestling, I had never ever wrestled in London or East London. And to be there, and I was the hometown girl. I was just like, I'd never had that before. And then for it to be with Ring of Honor, it was just like, yes, icing on the cake. It was fine. I freaked out when I found out when I was in Japan, though.
I mean, that's kind of weird, that you haven't, before that point, you didn't perform in London.
And it was mainly because of how I was training and where I was training, and I decided to leave the country quite quickly. Like, I never trained in London, really. I trained outside of London. I wrestled outside of London most of the time. The match that my mother has only seen literally was my first match. She's not seen any other match person unless they were videotaped because it hasn't been in London. Yeah.
Now, keeping on the UK, it gets no bigger than the Knight family. And Soraya Knight, you actually have a W on her.
Da 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 dum.
Can you tell us what it means to you to have a win on Sweet Soraya Knight?
It's not a win. It's actually multiples. So you can look back and see.
Yes.
But good. I'm glad that you know. But what it means, it means as much as it means at the first win when you beat the person that, let's say, trained you. Fine. It's a nice tip to your hat. I remember it as myself was when I opened my training school and I wrestled my students, and when they got their big win, it was like, you done good, kid, and that's what that was for me. The wins after that, well, I'm the Amazon, aren't I?
Well, speaking of your students at the Renegade dojo, you did compete against friend of the show, Katya the Soviet Suicide, no?
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
had nothing but great things to say, but she does want a rematch.
No, I would like that too. That she deserves a rematch. Like when Katia came to us, amidst everything that was going on every other where, she took homed in what she needed to do, trained when she needed to train, and did what she needed to do, and turned up for the match. It's a shame right now that I don't get to see a lot of people because I'm traveling a lot. But I do wish all my Renegades the best, and they know that. And there will be another show coming very, very soon for all of you.
Oh yeah.
Very, very soon.
Now, you actually teamed with Aja Khan.
Yes, I did.
Obviously, Japanese legend. What was that
Yes,
experience
she
like?
did. I remember Nanae told me about that match when we were on a trip to Kyoto. We just got like our bikes and everything and our formal dress, and we were just riding our bikes along the bridge, and it was so tranquil. It was nice. It was like everything you saw in the pictures. And she stopped me and went, "Amazon, big match, presents. And I was like, what? She's like, oh, you, Aja, team. I'm like, and I literally broke down crying. And she was like, what? What's the matter? I was like, you're just basically giving me what I've always wanted. It's like literally there is no disrespect at all. I'd love to have a match with her. But my thing was, I always wanted to team with Aja because I heard the stories, I heard everything, and then you meet the person backstage, and then you're in the ring with them, and it's just I learned so much in that match, and then there afterwards because I started working for Sendai Girls, and she gives so many people so many advice, and just to be in the ring with her and knowing why she does things and how she does it and for what reason to do what, and it seemed so stupid, but I was just like, tell me everything, tell me all your secrets, but but it was just like when Nane told me that, she literally went, yes, this dream match. And it was funny because I thought she went, it was my dream. It wasn't. It was because they were going to bill it as a dream match because it's Amazon and Aja, the two Amazons together. I was like, no, it's my dream. It was my dream. But like, it was a surreal moment. It was literally as cool as when I went to a coffee shop in, where were we? Shinjuku with Arisa, and we walked into the coffee shop, and Minami Toyota was just there. And she was like, oh, legend. And I'm like, I think it's interesting here. It means nothing to you. But yeah.
I think that's, a great segue into Ayesha's bizarre adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Where do we start? So, I remember, if anybody wants to go back in time to the Amazon history, I was in a faction called London Inc. And we were on this weird and wonderful, stupid trip to Norwich for a party. I can't remember whose party it was. It was either New Year's or Boxing Day. And it was myself, Jet Logan, Ananya, and DKJ in the car. We're driving, 4 black people driving in a Benz. What could go wrong? So we were driving down a country lane in the middle of East Anglia somewhere, where somewhere in some corner, someone's going to come out with a pitchfork. Like I said, you got 4 black people in a Benz, and he's driving down a country lane. DKJ's car breaks down. Oh no, what do we do now? 4 black people in a car. I'm going to say it one more time, in a country lane in a Benz. We're all trying to figure out where we're going. This is before, GPS and SatNav reached everywhere. This is back in the days. I'm talking 2000, probably 7. And we're all trying to figure out where we're going. And suddenly this nose comes through the window because one of the people, I think Ananya had her window open. And it just gets closer and closer. And this Shetland pony is looking us dead in the eye. And I don't know if he wants to kill us or we should kill him for food because I don't know if we're going home. And we eventually find out where we need to be, arriving there about 2 hours later. But knowing that I was probably going to get killed by, anybody from the Hills Have Eyes and this Shetland pony, made me never want to drive with 4 black people in a Benz ever again. I do have more, if you want more.
If you want to share them, I'll listen, for sure.
What else have we got for you? I'm trying to think, which is a funny story. There's too many. There's. Oh, okay, there you go. You can have my first time driving around the Highlands in Scotland. So I've been trekking around North Ayrshire in Scotland, and I had to meet a friend in Loch Lineage. It's near Beith somewhere. And I was driving, and me, because I'm from London, we either go really, really slow or really moderately fast, but we don't know that anything else is bigger than our car. So I'm used to big, wide roads. My friend was apparently following me the whole time, but she didn't tell me that she was behind me because I was going to meet her at a point. And I drove, I felt the car bump up once, and then I heard a little tiny splash, and then I swerved. And I swerved into this like tiny like townhouse thing, and I saw my friend pull up on the side. And she told me to wipe down my window. She walked out of my car. I opened my car door, I walked out, and she was like, "Do you realise you almost drove into the lock?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "Look over there. That's the bank. You almost drove straight into the lock." In the middle of the night, I could have drowned in my car, and I drive a black Ford Fiesta, so you wouldn't have found me for days. Yeah, I do these things.
Hey, it's wrestler life.
I know, right? I know.
Now,
There's more, but they'll have to pay for those stories. Bad book.
talking about traveling. You don't travel alone. You travel with Yuki, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about Yuki the Panda Bear?
Ice ribbons.
Okay.
No. At the ice ribbon tour, or
Okay. So that's where you got him?
oh, you're talking about my Yuki,
Yeah.
my bear. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, you can edit that. That's fine. I thought you were talking about Yuki the wrestler. Well, so
No.
my bear. Oh, you actually want to go about my Yuki? I feel bad for my Yuki. I left him in. He's currently in London at the moment. So I've got Yuki from a very nice sponsor who wishes to be unnamed, and I will respect his decision. We went to Yokohama, Chinatown, and we were looking around, and I'm literally obsessed with pandas. Like every time I go to Japan, somebody buys me something else that's a panda. I currently have a makeup bag that's shaped like a panda from Marissa for my birthday. But I was just looking around and I saw all these different panda bears, and there was big ones, small ones. I was like, I'm going. I was literally going in probably like 3 weeks, and I saw this really perfect looking bear, and it was the only one left. It was like pocket sized. I was like, I want that one, and he was like, bigger? You don't want Amazon size? I'm like, no, I want that one. So literally from that day until now today, because he is actually safer in the UK than he is in Jamaica. Trust me. I have my nan has too many dogs. He will go missing somewhere. But he's been my only, like, it as sad as it sounds, is my only traveling buddy. Like, I take him everywhere, and if I don't take him with me, something bad always happens, guaranteed. Every match that I've had, he's been there. He even came to Pennyworth with me. You know, he met Alfred Pennyworth. You know, Yuki is also a DC character. He's been on the set. He's had more experience than most people. He's met Warner Brothers directors and stuff. He's even been involved in TV interviews. You know, I took him on a press conference interview in Japan. He was on Kent TV. Like, this bear knows too many secrets. If you literally could hook a camera up to him, he probably could ruin my entire career. That's not saying that anyone should kidnap my bear and hook a camera up to it.
So it kind of became somewhat of a superstitious. When he's there, good. When he's not bad.
Oh yeah, no, if I can think of a match or a time or something happens and he wasn't there, I will email it and give it to you. You can put it in a description box. But any time that Yuki isn't there, something bad happens. Like anytime that he has actually been there, everything as good has happened. Like Pennyworth is actually a really good example. I brought him with me. He was on set. He actually sat in the director's chair, which was actually quite interesting to watch. And when I got shot, they didn't realize the difference between like stunt bumping and wrestling bumping. It was kind of the same. And when I got shot, I literally back bumped the floor. and they all freaked out. And I was like, "No, it's fine. I know how to protect my head. My back is like got done in though, but my head's fine." And they're like, "Do it again." And I'm like, "No, I'm actually quite okay. I am guaranteed. If Yuki wasn't there, I would have got a concussion because it was a brick floor." They didn't give me pad. They were like, "Do you want the padding?" No, like, no, it's fine. This is actually softer than most rings in Japan, which is true. It was so true. Anyone remember that 0-1 ring? I can contest to that.
Well, that does bring up. How did it come about that you became Mad Janet Murphy?
So I don't know how much people realized how much I kind of changed my body. There was a time where I got really, really into bodybuilding, and there was a couple of pictures that I put on my Instagram, over my pages and stuff, and people basically saw this kind of Amazonian character. And there was a friend of mine in London who passed through my name to a stunt director that was directing work for Warner Brothers, especially during the COVID period in the UK, because obviously people couldn't fly in and blah 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 blah. So somebody had basically Facebook stalked me, Instagram stalked me, and went, "Oh, she looks really good." It was really weird. I got a phone call on a Monday. I spoke with the director on the Tuesday morning, and I was casted by Thursday morning.
Wow.
I went home. At the time, I was actually living in Scotland, so I came down to London to visit my family, which is literally pure random. I was on the train, and I got the phone call. And I flew home to Scotland, packed my stuff, and then within a week, they drove me, and that's when I stayed. Giselle and I stayed at the hotel for, I think it was 15 days. They contracted us for, and that's when we filmed the episode. But it was literally that fast.
That seems like a really swift process. Usually it's a lot complicated than that.
Yeah, I mean, they were very honest with me, and this is not me stroking my ego. That was exactly what they were looking for. The only thing that did scare me there, and me and the wardrobe directors and the costume directors laughed about it to this day, was the day I walked in for fitting. They didn't they didn't tell me what the concept was for the character, so all I got was a name, Mad Janet Murphy. She was a wrestler who wields an axe. Cool, fine, dandy. When I walked into the costume room, there were like pictures of like Hitler and swastikas and Stalin and all these other things. It was the actual dress that they were trying to mimic. So they were trying to make me like the ultimate villain, but I was like, you're gonna have a black girl with dreads wearing like SS uniforms and stuff. Like, what's going on? And like, no, it's just a concept. I'm like, it better be. Like my grandmother's gonna watch this. I like look at myself. I'm looking around. I'm like, I didn't know. Like, oh, okay. But that's where the concept. So I was basically fashioned after fascism as Nazis. So there you go. Mad Janet Murphy is a black dreadlock Nazi.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more that Wikipedia doesn't tell you.
People are going on Wikipedia right now, typing, adding to the description.
No, don't! Warner Brothers will kill me! Don't ruin my career!
But, what does it mean to you to be a part of, Penny's work? And obviously, the character is now a part of the DC universe.
Like, I can literally walk up to anyone and go, I'm a DC character, are you? Oh no, oh. There'll probably be like an action figure of me one day, that's what I'm just like. But to me, it's like I said, it's like the Mae Young Classic thing all over again. It's like a dream come true, like the boyhood dream, the girlhood dream. There we go. It's the girlhood dream. Like everybody wants to be a comic book character. That's what we are as wrestlers. Like we're living, breathing comic book characters come to real life, and now I literally am one. And like, and for one of the biggest kind of franchises, Batman. Like, thank you very much. Like, how could I get any bigger than that?
Oh yeah.
Unless someone's gonna make me Catwoman, you know? Hint, hint.
I mean, if you want to go into the DC universe, obviously the Batman universe is the one you want to hit.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I went to the peak of the mountain from the first hit, so it's fine. All they got to do is, Mad Janet the ghost of Mad Janet Murphy. There we go.
If I've learned one thing from comic books and just media in general, nobody stays dead.
That's true.
So, hey, you might be seeing a cameo coming up.
To be fair, when we were in catering, I made a really, really funny joke. You know how luchador wrestlers used to have like comic books and like magazines and TV shows made after them?
Oh, yeah.
They should have done that with I can't remember what Giselle's character was named, but they should do that for Mad Janet Murphy and the other character, because like they need backstories too. Like, why is my character so angry at like so early in the morning? Who's angry at breakfast? Like, why are you so angry all the time?
I mean, again, hey, you never know. And keeping on, cameos, you had a cameo in Fighting with My Family, no?
Yes, I did. It's a cameo slash. The girl with the purple hair was definitely me. And if you scroll all the way to the end, they do add in the segments from the documentary, and you see my miserable crying face at, I think it was Gatwick Airport. We going, oh my god, why, no one's ending. No, it's fine.
No,
But it was
continue.
It was interesting because I only watched. I think I watched the movie about a year after it came out, or maybe two. Only because I was on a plane and somebody said that they saw my face, but I never actually watched the movie for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, like, I do this for a living, but this is a movie about what I do. I could imagine that's an interesting position to be in.
Yeah, it was a surreal position to be in, to be honest. Like, it was. That's why I'm so glad it was a mockumentary and not like a real depiction of what happens. Because when you ever played that drinking game BS, I'm not going to swear on your podcast because I don't know if you can. But every time I remember watching it, and I was over video call with some of my friends, and every time we saw something that never happens, everyone took a shot. I didn't finish the movie straight eyed.
Well, I do some deep digging sometimes, and sometimes I'm not even sure what I find. And hopefully you can elaborate on it, if this is correct.
Mm-hmm.
You auditioned for the X Factor?
Yes, I did. My mom's still got that picture in our living room, and they still got the stuff here. So I was in an a cappella singing group when I did music GCSE and A level, and I have a degree in entertainment and music and art. And I was originally supposed to go through with a group of people that didn't happen in the end, and I went by myself. My mum being that she's not a stage mum, but she's a very supportive mother, extremely supportive, that she accompanied me all the way to Manchester to audition. So yes, I did. It's an interesting process. Like, growing up now and knowing a lot more about TV and reality TV programs and how things are done, I can understand now why some people just don't go that route anymore. I get it completely.
But just for anybody that's not aware what we're talking about, the X Factor was the UK's equivalent to American Idol. Maybe even bigger than American Idol in the UK as well.
Yeah, I think it's finished now.
Yeah, I don't think it runs anymore. So I'm assuming you didn't get in front of Simon Cowell.
No. There was a lot more processes than people realize, and that I realized at the time. So you do producers, producers, like executive producers. Then you see a couple of more people, and then you see the judges. And even when you do boot camp, there's about 5 or 6 cuts before you see the people that are on TV. So it's a lot more than what people actually see. I was kind of lucky at the time because my vocal teacher at the time was Audrey Anderson. I was going to a vocal class in Stratford at the time, Stratford Circus, and he originally did Fame Academy, and he basically told me everything before I went. So I was a little bit more prepared, but it's different when you're there.
Now, we've been talking about, all the incredible people you've been in the room with: Tessa Blanchard, Ken Storm, Katie Ray, Soraya Knight. Can you tell us about your rivalry with Toasty the Toaster?
That toaster owes me a few brain cells, and I have no idea why he's trying to take away my best friend and my sister. I don't have many friends in Scotland. Like, I could cut promos for days about this toaster. I have not many friends in Scotland, and he's already trying to cause a wedge between me and my sister and my friend, and it's not fair. Like, I literally came back from Japan, and there was a shiny thing in front of me. I'm like, who are you? But it's fine. It's all right. Can have Emily. I'm okay. No. Emily Hayden's mine. It's mine. To my sister, she's my friend.
Only you get the
Stupid
German
toaster.
suplex her.
Only I get to only I get to do it. Although, to be fair, that Toasty video, the Death of Toasty video, was the best video I've ever done in my entire life. I wish that delusion was reality. I really do. I've had that dream so many times. I loved filming that. That was awesome.
I love how Emily was just like nonchalant, like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So innocent.
I'm just an innocent. No. But that toaster is evil, though. I'll tell you, it's the death of all of us.
Alright. Now it's time for the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Aerosmith Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
Okay.
Bewitched Say La Vie. And let me think of a tragic song. What's going to make people cry? Meatloaf. Every Meatloaf song on repeat. There you go. That's the end of the film. There's no happy ending. My movie's like Titanic. You just get Meatloaf on repeat.
Alright. Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you make the soundtrack, then you write the script, and then you go to casting. Who plays Ayesha? And you can't say yourself.
Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union, 100% down. There we go. Gabrielle Union. It's always Gabrielle Union.
Wow, you had that ready to go.
Who else are you going to pick? Unfortunately, Aaliyah has passed, so we can't have Aaliyah. So we have to have Gabrielle Union.
Okay. Now that we have you casted, every movie has a supporting cast. who would be 3 people significant to you in your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
I would make. I don't know. I think I'd make everybody play themselves
Fair enough.
and pay them more money.
Okay.
I'll make somebody else pay me, and I'll make everybody else in my brain pay themselves, but just pay them more money. But if I name them on now, if I forget someone, they'll get all angry. So I just say all my cast. Anybody who knows my life story, you know who you are.
I mean, you could say more than 3 names. I just limit it to 3. But if you want to, say more, you absolutely can.
I have one significant member. Justin Richards is one of my trainers, as you know. I would make Morgan Freeman Justin Richards.
Okay.
There we go. Justin gets to be Morgan Freeman.
There you go. Well, Morgan Freeman's in the movie, so you know that it's going to make $1 billion.
It was going to make $1 billion anyway. It's a movie about me.
Oh yeah, it's a big blockbuster, and you can pre-order the tickets now.
Exactly.
Aren't you a
And then just as wrestler, standard card subject to change.
I love that. Aren't you a controversial subject? Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Demons, you're psychopaths. You should all be hung and crossed, drawn, and quartered. Like anybody who eats, it's the same as what was that horrible pizza? Olives and pineapple. Like just no. Psycho. Put them all in a box and set the box on fire. There we go.
Okay, so we are anti-pineapple on pizza.
The same people who mix chocolate and fruit. Anybody who eats like Terry's chocolate orange, you're a psychopath.
Well, I mean, in that sense, chocolate makes anything better, no matter what.
No, chocolate is divine and it should never be mixed with anything else.
Right.
Says the lactose intolerant person.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon is Jinx, and it's always been Jinx. The big boobed lady who just literally stands there. I don't know why. I've always had a fascination with Jinx. She's always been my favorite Pokemon.
Alright. Now, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for THUG? THUG.
No, I don't.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. 'Cause a Doug can't spell. Yes.
Okay, that's my lesson learned today. You taught me something.
Well, we love the late great Tracy Smothers, so we're trying to keep the memory alive on the show.
Appreciate it.
Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
Yes, because everybody hears that story about anyone that can wrestle a broom, whatever, rare-tear, what have you. If I could wrestle a Rock, and it was a 5-star WrestleMania class, like Wrestle Kingdom, smokes are blowing, firework going match, yeah, of course. No problem.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
He's my hero.
I wouldn't go that far. He didn't win the match.
Oh, dude, come on. You jumped out to the Rock.
Well, They tied. It was 319 to 319, but The Rock was the champion, so he he retained because he was the champion.
No, no, no. You know what tying or drawing is? They only made up tying or drawing so somebody's feelings wouldn't get hurt. He's either a winner or a loser. He lost.
Yes. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Being the household legacy legend that I am. I'm already a living legend now, and I'll be a living legend in the future.
You'll be a living legend with 5 more years under her belt.
Exactly. 5 more years that I won't be counting because now my age clock stops right now. I'm gonna periodically go on Wikipedia and just put it back every year so no one notices.
Oh my god, I can't.
Never thought of doing that. I mean, it's possible.
I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, look at Ayesha Raymond. She hasn't aged a day.
Exactly. She's whatever she is right now. She looks amazing. See, you can hear the narrative right now.
Yeah. And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Ayesha Raymond is all about?
The next match coming up for UPW on the 27th of April. It's me versus Livy Grace. Livy and I have crossed paths many, many, many times before, but you know that sometimes I see myself in her. She's the younger version of me sometimes. We were on the road together through the IPW days, and now we're on the road together sometimes, and now we're going to be standing from across the ring from each other for my championship title, the UPW Women's Championship. So, who knows what will happen? I like my belt. It's so pretty.
And is there a match people could watch right now on YouTube?
Literally, if you type in Ayesha Raymond, there's only one. You will get everything and anything. The match that right now, for some reason, I think it's because Jamie is Jamie. The match that keeps popping up on comments for me is people keep wanting people to check out the match versus myself and Jamie Hayter at GWF for the German Wrestling Women's Championship. It was one hell of a match, and she was just on her way to Japan, and I just come back from the classic. So yeah, you can see two very hungry people at that time. It was a while back, but even I watched that match to this day, and just yeah.
Alright, well, I will grab a link to that match from YouTube, and I will put it in the link in the description of the video below, but on YouTube Cast Talk for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it, wants to re-see it after this interview.
Cute.
The end.
And since we're nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of
Oh, okay. There's more.
This is our speed
Oh
round,
no.
our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Oh no. Don't expose me, please.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
In my honest opinion, they're gonna hate me for this. Wrestling? Are we talking wrestling or entertainment?
I mean, however you want to answer it.
Okay. Shawn Michaels.
Worst wrestler.
Ashton Booger.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Right now, Jamie Hayter.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Jericho's King of My World. Even though everyone hates it. I know they hate it. I know it didn't work at the time, but it's a good song.
That's definitely a sleeper for sure.
Hmm.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
Dead.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast.
Sorry, did I just do something wrong there?
No, it's a joke. It's just an inside joke. Squash, vegetable or fruit?
Fruit.
Yes, it is indeed a fruit.
Why would you say it's a vegetable? Fruits have seeds. That's why a tomato is a fruit.
Yes, but there are some people that do believe that it's a vegetable, and you cannot.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You should go in the pit with the people with the pineapples on pizza.
New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question: what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Well, being a Joshi wrestler and having watched DDT, I don't think there is one.
So to each their own.
Yeah. Whatever your taste is, you say tomato, I say thong.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
Why would I?
And that is the correct answer.
Is that an initiation to life?
Yes. Think that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
No, thank you. It's been a blast, literally. I like you. You can stay. You can stay.
I appreciate that. I don't want to go in the hole with the pineapple and pizza people. Oh, once again, where can we find all things Ayesha Raymond on social media and your merchandise?
So you can find all things Ayesha Raymond by typing in Ayesha Raymond or at Amazon Ayesha Ray or at Amazon Ayesha Raymond into all of your social media platforms and all your face spaces and your Insta Twitches and all you have to do. And you can also find all my merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees if you type in Ayesha Raymond. You'll see my wonderful face, because there only is one, this Warner Brothers Japanese British, Jamaican, wonderful face. Thank you.
And if they want more variety, they could DM you for merchandise as well, correct?
Yes, you can DM me for merchandise most easily on Twitter and on Instagram.
Alright, and you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all her social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. Simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. But on YouTube and Castbox, this was sponsored by World Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. And follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesShane993. Alright, when I say wrestling lit, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For Our very special guest Ayesha Raymond, Calico Yacht, Scooter Dust. I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment!
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.